Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning and someone secretly deposits $10 million into your bank account. No lottery, no inheritance, no explanation. For a moment, your heart races. You smile. You think your life has finally changed. But here's the terrifying question. What if I told you that within a few years, your own brain would quietly take most of it away? Not because you're lazy, not because you're stupid, but because your brain was programmed long before you ever earned your first dollar. And unless you understand this invisible programming, you'll keep working harder while someone else keeps getting richer. Tonight, I'm going to tell you the story of the greatest thief you'll ever meet. The thief living inside your own mind. When people think about poverty, they imagine empty wallets, low salaries, expensive bills, bad luck. But none of those are the real prison. The real prison is invisible. Imagine an elephant. When it's just a baby, its leg is tied to a tiny wooden stake. Every day it pulls, it struggles, it fights, but the rope never breaks. Eventually, the elephant stops trying. Years pass. Now it weighs several tons, strong enough to uproot entire trees. Yet, the same tiny rope still holds it, not because the rope is strong, but because the elephant believes it is. Now, here's the uncomfortable part. Most people live exactly like that elephant, not trapped by money, but trapped by beliefs they never chose. Here's something most schools never teach. Your brain doesn't care about making you rich. It cares about keeping you alive. Thousands of years ago, that made perfect sense. If your ancestors explored too far, they might become dinner for a predator. If they tried something unfamiliar, they could die. So evolution rewarded one thing above everything else: safety. Today, the predators are gone, but your brain never got the memo. Every time you think about starting a business, investing, learning a new skill, or asking for a raise, your brain whispers, "What if you fail?" It doesn't ask because it's logical, it asks because it's ancient. Your brain would rather keep you comfortably broke than risk temporary uncertainty. And that changes everything. Have you ever noticed some people always seem to have bad luck? No matter what happens, life is always against them. But here's something fascinating. The brain is like a movie director. Every single day, it edits reality. Out of millions of pieces of information, it only shows you the scenes that match the story you already believe. If you believe, "I'm terrible with money," guess what your brain will notice? Every mistake, every bill, every failure, every financial setback. It quietly hides all the evidence that proves otherwise, because your brain loves being right, even when being right keeps you poor. The stories you repeat become the reality you notice. And the reality you notice becomes the life you live. Here's something even stranger. Your brain is addicted. Not to money, not to comfort, to familiarity. Even painful familiarity. Think about that. Have you ever met someone who keeps making the exact same financial mistakes? Different year, different paycheck, same ending. That's because your brain treats the familiar like home, even if that home is filled with stress, debt, and anxiety. Change feels dangerous, even when staying the same is slowly destroying your future. That's why people sabotage themselves. They earn more, then spend more. They get promoted, then create new expenses. They finally escape, only to build another cage. Not because they want to fail, because the old identity keeps pulling them back. Now, let me tell you something hopeful. Every wealthy person, at some point, had to fight the same brain. The difference wasn't intelligence, it wasn't talent, it wasn't luck. It was awareness. They noticed the voice saying, "You can't." And instead of obeying it, they questioned it. Every successful investor felt fear. Every entrepreneur doubted themselves. Every millionaire made mistakes. The difference is simple. They stopped treating fear as a stop sign and started treating it as proof they were growing. Inside your mind, there are always two voices. One says, "Stay safe." The other whispers, "What if there's more?" The first voice promises comfort. The second promises possibility. The first protects today's survival. The second creates tomorrow's freedom. Most people spend their entire lives listening only to the louder voice, but the quieter voice is the one that changes destinies. So, why does your brain keep you poor? Because it wasn't designed to make you rich. It was designed to keep you alive. It cannot tell the difference between real danger and imagined failure. That's your job. The next time fear tells you, don't invest, don't ask, don't start, don't try, pause for a moment. Ask yourself one question. Is this fear protecting me, or is it protecting the life I'm trying to escape? Because the biggest financial breakthrough doesn't begin in your bank account. It begins with the story you decide to believe about yourself. And maybe, just maybe, the prison door was never locked. You are simply taught never to push it open. If this story changed the way you think, leave a comment with one word: awake. Because the moment you become aware of the invisible cage is the moment you stop living inside it. And if you enjoy stories that reveal the hidden psychology behind wealth, success, and the human mind, subscribe. Because sometimes the most valuable investment you'll ever make is changing the way you think.